Alice in Wonderland. Original work by Lewis Carroll UK. Alice had just finished her afternoon lesson and was resting under a tree. Her sister was sitting beside her, reading a book. Alice let out a big yawn. "Oh my! I'm going to be so late." Suddenly, a white rabbit appeared, muttering to itself, and passed right by Alice. What? What was that? Curious, Alice chased after the rabbit. The rabbit passed through a large hall and jumped into a huge hole under a hedge. Wait! Alice followed the rabbit and fell into a deep hole. After a long fall, she landed on a pile of dry leaves. When Alice stood up, she saw the rabbit disappearing into a long tunnel. Alice chased the rabbit and arrived in a long, narrow room. There were many small locked doors. Which way should I go? Then Alice noticed a key on a table. She picked it up and tried opening each door. One small door opened, revealing a beautiful garden. Wow, it's so pretty! I really want to go there. Looking at the table again, Alice saw a bottle that hadn't been there before. It had a label saying, "Drink me." Alice bravely drank what was in the bottle. To her surprise, her body started to shrink. Now I can go out through the small door. But when she tried to open the door, she couldn't reach the key on the table anymore. She stamped her feet in frustration and then noticed a cake under the table with a label that said, "Eat me." She took a bite and her body began to grow very tall. Although she could now reach the key, she was too big and bumped her head on the ceiling. "I'm a monster now. How awful!" Alice picked up the fan the rabbit had dropped and waved it gently. Then her body began to shrink again until she fell into a pool of tears. I fell into a pool of my own tears? What is this? Alice swam across the pool toward where the rabbit had disappeared. This is unbelievable. I can't get out if I'm this big. Alice began to cry, and her huge tears formed another large pool. Just then, the white rabbit appeared. "Excuse me?" As Alice began to speak, the rabbit screamed. Ah! A giant monster. The frightened rabbit ran away, dropping his fan and gloves. As Alice wandered through the forest, she heard a voice from atop a giant mushroom. "Hey, are you okay?" A caterpillar was smoking a long pipe. "I want to grow bigger," Alice said. "Eat the piece of mushroom on one side and you'll grow. Eat the other side and you'll shrink." The caterpillar disappeared into the forest. "Thank you, mister." Caterpillar. Alice ate a piece of the mushroom and returned to her normal size. She then cut both sides of the mushroom and carried them with her. After walking a while, Alice came to a large table. There sat the March Hare, the Mad Hatter, and the Dormouse. The Mad Hatter said, "There's no seat for you, but there are so many chairs." "Well, we're all going to come back and sit here," he replied. "How rude," Alice muttered. She continued walking and saw a tree with a door. Beyond it was a beautiful garden. Alice ate the mushroom piece to shrink and walked through the door. While strolling through the lovely garden, Alice saw a parade. There were trumpeters, kings and queens from various countries, and even the white rabbit. But at the end of the parade came the Queen of Hearts. She got angry because Alice didn't bow her head. How rude! Off with her head! Just then, a herald appeared and shouted, "The trial will now begin." What trial? Alice wondered, and followed into the castle. Inside, the trial began in a large hall. The Queen of Hearts baked a pie, but the Knave of Hearts stole it. As the trial went on, Alice began to grow bigger and bigger until she returned to her normal size. Then the White Rabbit shouted, "Next witness, Alice! Step forward." The Queen of Hearts gave Alice an order. "Tell us what you know about this case." I don't know anything," said Alice. "This is a very big and important case. We must decide whether there's guilt or not." "That's nonsense. Off with her head." "No way, that's not fair." "Even if you're playing cards, you can't do that." Then the playing cards rushed toward Alice. "No!" When Alice opened her eyes, she found herself lying with her head on her sister's lap. "Sis, I had the strangest dream." Alice began to laugh and told her sister all about the things that had happened in Wonderland.